try this. Try and laugh a bit.
Talking? You talking to me? Okay.
Uh, the for Fyendalhobby, we can't see your site yet. Yeah. Uh, oh, all right, all right. It's starting already. Starting already. When are we going live? Shouldn't someone tell us when we? Denise, when are we going live? It's switching over. Right. So welcome to the first Malaysia versus Singapore show match. The Barca versus Madrid of FAB. For the Singaporean side, looks like we have a Prism. Interesting matchup here.
Yep.
That is to mute the. Oh no. Some technical issues, but we are resolving it ASAP. Ooh, it's a Briar versus Prism matchup. You can stop the conversation. I don't hear them talking. Yeah, I can mute. Can mute. So the captain of Team No Win No Sleep is going up first, and I'm pretty excited about this matchup. Salam, what do you think?
Really, the first Briar matchup that I'm watching, at least live. And also Prism, so it's unexpected. So I'm really interested to see how this play out, John. What do you think? Anything to add?
Oh, I just got my tiny handed by Davin in a recent armory playing Prism. So let's see how this Prism plays.
So we are waiting for the rolls. They rolled, right? So David got a 7 and
Yes. So I believe the Prism is going first. Yeah.
Jill.
So
Sideboarding action going on here.
do you think the Prism will go the Herald route or the Aura route, Salam?
Fire does have some sixes, but a combination of both might be better. What do you think, John? You're a better player, see.
Yeah, I mean, you have to put in the relevant auras, right? Auras that he has to deal with. Auras like Arc-like Sentinel and Genesis will be pretty good in this matchup. What's happening?
Oh,
Oh,
So what do you think? How do Briar actually handles Arclight Sentinel? How do you think she has to play around that?
well, with the new Arc L, it's a really good way to go around Arclight Sentinel. What you can actually do is target an attack to Arclight Sentinel and then trigger the L ability to play your non-attack action on instant speed, and then after that go for the Prism. Like, do take note that Prism's auras require very heavy resources, so whenever she plays an aura, she's taking a lot of damage.
Now we're gonna see whether Devin will go for the Spellbound Creepers, which is the L Joan is talking about, and see if he can play around the Arclight Sentinel there.
Of course, David is representing No Win No Sleep, currently the top team in Malaysia. So
A shout out for No Win No Sleep there. But Joan, then suddenly seeing a quick table shuffle here before we get the game going. Still waiting for that equipment review so we can know what these two are up to.
all right, and we're getting started. We are getting started. Okay, the Prism's equipment is the standard Vestige, Footsteps, Halo, and of course the Naurun gloves to negate the arcane, right? And for Briar, we have the Snapdragon. That is a Snapdragon. Oh, something spicy, boy.
The usual stuff for the armors, we have Skull Cap, Tunic, the Runeblade L, and finally the Snapdragon. So we'll see the Prism player going first here. Really taking his time with the first move here. If he does have an aura in the hand, Joan, is it a good time to actually play it out
It
now?
would be a great time to play it out now, right? Like, if you play the aura out now, you gain so much tempo. Oh, but it looks like the Briar is going first, so
So we were mistaken about the player that goes first. Okay, interesting. Anyway, so let's see the first card being played out here. Tunic is on 1.
oh,
Force Lore Surge. So this basically blocks up its next attack. So let's see the second attack coming out here. He can play another non-attack in order to gain a lightning token. So let's see if Devin is going for that route or it's a standard attack. So
it's a
Vigor Rush.
Vigor Rush for 9. That's a big Vigor Rush coming at the Prism. This would at least draw 3 cards from him.
Okay. Guessing the Prism player is thinking how to block this massive damage. He could be having an aura in his hand.
Does he really want to play the aura here? Nope, he's opting to block. He blocks for 9.
Okay, that's a
Yeah.
clean block there.
Situation's really tense, Salam. Oh, this is.
The players are taking their
The
time.
players are taking their time. They're evaluating the plays. And I'm pretty sure he's looking at the cards that he was blocked. Yep. That's Oh, it's a
Okay, that's it from Briar. So passing over to Prism now, drawing up to 4, and here go. See if we can get a first play here.
oh, it's a yellow pitch and a blue pitch
Interesting.
for a prismatic shield. Interesting choice.
It's expecting an aura, but prismatic shield comes out. So that's a red one.
It's a red prismatic shield. So it's going to be a more defensive prism, right? Because he's going down the aura route, so he will most likely be cutting heralds for the prismatic shields.
Mhm.
And Davin takes all 3 damage.
So usually when people come with you with multiple spectral token, what you do is just take all the damage and hoping to push through, destroying their tokens next turn. Ooh, here comes the spicy sonata here. Let's see what David hits here. That's what he wants actually.
It's a hit. So 1 arcane coming to the Prism player. A bigger rush will go back to Davin's hand.
So let's say the Prism player opt to use his spectral token in order to negate the 1 arcane, or he's going to pitch for this. It's going to be an interesting choice here.
So he's opting to pitch for it, Salam. And he has pitched it. He has pitched a blue Herald of Ravages, negating 1 arcane. And he plays a Tome of Harvest, drawing 3. Okay. And the next attack, creating the embodiment of lightning.
Yeah.
This looks like a big turn.
Yes, sir. So next attack is going to have go again. So Vigor Rush is not needed here. He could play another attack in order to benefit from the go again. So we'll see what attack he's going for here.
He's going really wide.
Really, really wide. Devin is taking his time with the next attack. See what comes out.
The spectral shields are looking really lonely right now. Just 3 of them on board. And here comes a sting of.
Ooh, there's a lot of non attacks, sir. Oh, Waxing Alice.
So it's 1 arcane from the Sting of Sorcery, 2 from Vexing, and on top of that, 1 from 1 physical damage with go again. What is coming up next?
There's a lot of arcane coming on here. So there's not enough features to actually negate all the arcanes. And with only 1 arcane barrier, it's not going to prevent those 2 arcane from Waxing Madness.
Well, I guess you can say one of those shields are as good as dead. Now, does he commit another card to try and keep at least 2 of those shields alive? Oh. No. No, no. He uses a shield.
So it's negating 2 of those arcane, I'm guessing, with the 2 remaining features, and he's taking 1 by sacrificing 1 of the spectral tokens.
Would seem that way. Now, if he takes 1 here. Nope. It looks like he's opting for a block.
He will be blocking the Waxing Malice, at least for the physical hit here. So two spectral leaves for now.
For now, Salam. It won't last long. And here comes 4 damage. So he negates one of the arcane with the spectral shield, leaving 1 arcane on board. And now there is 4 damage coming from Vigor Rush, and it still has go again.
Yes,
So this is a really aggressive start. A really aggressive start from David. And here comes the consuming.
Oh, it's spicy. So he's forcing the Prism player to basically throw his hand in order to block because he did took some arcane.
Yes, he did.
So you're gonna force a block from the Prism player and still starting a card.
He'll be forcing at least 2 cards here. No, he hasn't taken any arcane yet, Salam.
Because of
the arcane, the now rune gloves and the shield. Right?
True.
So he negates the arcane and trigger footsteps. Yep, that's a clean block for 4.
Okay, so that white turn didn't actually do much because the Prism player was being super defensive here.
But it gave him a lot of tempo.
That's
So
true.
the Prism will most likely just draw and pass. And let's see how David builds on that tempo.
I'm interested to know what the Prism player has in his arsenal. Do you think it's an aura?
It's looking like an aura. If it's a defense reaction, it would have been played to stop the Vigor Rush, right? But
True. Here comes the boom. Let's see if David hits this.
and he hits on the Tome of the Arknight. Man, David has so much gas. You think that he's playing a. Oh, it doesn't stop.
And here comes a pulse. Interesting. So he will be opting to take back at least up to 3. So it's opting to take 2 non-attack action here. On top. So you do get a lightning from playing 2 non-attack
Yes,
action.
he does.
Ooh. So explosive growth, what it does is basically buffing up his next attack by 1. So with fusing it, so it's coming for 1 arcane and 3 physical, and David's next attack is going to deal 1 more damage. So it's fusing with a blue Autumn's Touch.
So it's 5 in total, Salam? 1 plus 4?
So for the buff itself, it doesn't apply to explosive growth, but for the next attack.
I see.
So it's coming for 3 and 1 arcane, so 4 in total. So let's see how the Prism player opt to block this. Do he take the arcane or will he be pitching for the arcane? That's the question.
Looks like he's opting to pitch for the arcane. Yes, he does. He pitches for the arcane. Yep, with a sink below. Yep,
That's a clean block.
that's a clean block indeed. Looks very similar to Tyler Horspool's deck.
Very defensive. Oh, let's see what Devin does with the go again. So we have one resource floating, and it's going to be the Rosetta.
For 2 arcane and 2 physical.
It's going to be 3 physical because of the buff.
Oh, 3 physical because of man.
Probably the
And he gets an embodiment of lightning. The embodiment of lightning doesn't break on Rosetta, it only breaks on attack actions. And it looks like the Prism player is opting to take some of the damage. Yep, he took. Look, does the embodiment of lightning stays?
It breaks because of the explosive proof.
Oh, it breaks because of the explosive. Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's head over to Prism. So we're looking at a 2-card hand and 1 arsenal. Let's see what he does here.
Looks like a hero play. It's a raging onslaught.
It's not even an illusionist attack, so that's interesting.
And Davin just takes the damage. All right.
It means David really likes his hand and he's going to try to apply the more pressure.
I must say, as a Prism player, I do not like Raging Onslaught as a card. I'm just putting it out there. And here comes the Tome of Harvest.
So that's a 5-card hand there. So with a Tomb of Powers, you basically put 1 card from the arsenal to the bottom of the deck and drawing up 3. So it's great for arsenal cycle. Let's see what David does with the 5-card hand.
Do take note, Davin has cycled back 2 cards from the candle hold back to the top of the deck. So he probably he's setting up for this turn.
Pitching a blue here.
Oh, Channel Mount Heroic. So all attack actions gets +3. Am I right, Salah?
Yes, that's true. So all attacks +3, it will be super useful in order to break those herald attacks and even buff up his attack during this turn. So let's see what kind of attacks Devin coming up with that. Did he go again?
With a go again as well, yes. Those pesky heralds aren't gonna be pesky no more.
Okay, with a 2-card hand and 1 pitch. So it's pitching a red consuming, I'm assuming. Coming with a Vexing Malice here.
That's a big Vexing Malice. That's a red Vexing Malice, Salam. That is interesting.
So it's a 6 and 2 arcane?
6 and 2 arcane, yes. With go again. Now, normally we only see the blue Vexing Malice, but Davin has opted to put in the red Vexing Malice into his deck. So the Prism will take the 2 arcane, dropping to 33.
So embodiment of Earth there for David. With the arcane. Now let's see for the physical hit. How does the Prism player opting to block? Blocking for 3.
Yes, down to 30. That's fair enough, seeing that how it's just vanilla damage and he still has life to trade in.
For next turn, Devin is going to have 2 embodiment of Earth. So that's really good for blocking. So let's see what the Prism player comes up with. So channel mount is it went into the discard, but it shouldn't be. It should be on board.
I think a bit of a misplay there. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, he's back in the game.
The channel mount
The channel mount is back in the game.
It's too early for him to go.
He's pitching an Arc-like Sentinel. War Tune Arrow.
So we have one floating. So really efficient attack, Fortune Arrow.
Yes, one of Prism's best attack cards, in my opinion. Now, if you break it, you can use the remaining one to just trigger footsteps for the go again, or to gain an action point. Or it looks like I'm willing to bet it is a blue pitch with a aura.
Okay,
All right, let's see
what comes up next. Will David opt to block this? Now that's the question.
6 is very respectable damage.
True.
You can't just ignore it. And with channel mount and embodiment of
Earth,
with embodiment of Earth on play, you would sway towards blocking this, right?
Yeah, it's really easy to block, at least from what I can see on whatever is available to David now. Even with a non-attack action, it's going to be buffed to like.
Yep.
It's going to be a Waxing Malice, a
6 block because of the channel mount.
So it's a red Waxing Malice, I assuming.
Yes, it looks like a red Waxing Malice.
Okay.
Oh nope, it was a blue Waxing Malice.
Oh, that was
That was a bit of a
blunder there.
A bit of a whoopsie.
Oops.
So you break it with rights. Okay.
So rights is already a 6 attack card. So it's a guaranteed break even with the channel mount not being there.
All right. So it breaks.
Okay, it breaks.
Now let's see. Oh, I was wrong. Oh. Well, it's a good thing I'm not a betting man because I would have lost that.
Okay, so tunic is up to 3. I'm guessing. Is it a 2 or 3? It's a 2. So no tunic for this turn at least. So it's going to be the next turn. Let's see what David plays out here with a 3 card hand and 1 arsenal. So channel mount is still in play. Going to be a big attack if it's coming in properly here. So that's a force of nature. So what force of nature does is the next attack is buff and it hits. David is going to able to draw a card. So with channel mount in play, all his attacks are going to have that buff.
Oh wow, that is pretty good.
Even not if it's not fusing. So you get to draw a card. So it's basically like a plunder run from hand.
And channel mount buffs up all the other cards, right?
True.
So
So a draw is guaranteed if the Prism player doesn't opt to block.
and this is a non-attack action?
It's a non-attack action. So Waxing Malice is coming in for 4 physical, 2 arcane. So if this hits, David gets to draw a card. But the thing is, he doesn't have go again, since Channel Mount was played in last turn. Unfortunately, there is only one non-attack action on board that is played this turn.
He could have a cheeky Razor Reflex in the arsenal, or he could opt for the Snapdragon Scalers.
That is true.
Depending on,
He do have 2 resources floating.
And every instance of arcane dealt by Davin will give him an embodiment of Earth.
That is correct.
So it looks like he's doing some cheeky things, right? He's using arcane to force out cards,
Mhm.
and then he will front load his physical damage.
True. So it's a guaranteed embodiment of Earth because the Prism player is only running Arcane Barrier 1. So it still takes one Arcane. So one embodiment of Earth is guaranteed. And let's see. So it's a clean block for Waxing Malice. So it's a 2-card hand and 1 arsenal. What do you think is going to play out here, John?
I would say a cheeky herald. Yes, it's a herald of protection. Yep.
So it's a blue.
It's a blue with playing a yellow herald of protection. So right now the Prism would really need to slow down the game. So if Davin blocks with 2 cards here, he'll seed some tempo, which will then give Prism the necessary breathing space to get his heralds out or his auras. And Davin opts to just takes the herald.
And it does get 1 spectral token from the protection.
So with the spectral shield, it's a 7 life swing, right? 6 plus the spectral shield. Yep. So that's pretty efficient. A very efficient attack.
So it's a red Earthlore Surge, I'm assuming.
Yes.
So it's going to be a +5 for the next attack. So a big attack coming here for David.
With a Sting of Sorcery follow-up. Okay. Giving the embodiment of lightning.
So next attack is going to have the go again. And we have 1 resource floating from Tunic. And 1 from the blue Waxing Malice, I'm assuming being pitched there. So let's see if it go again. What does David does? One floating. So we have a CNC.
That's a big CNC, guys. That's a CNC for 11.
So that's not ordinary CNC.
That's a CNC for 11 with a go again. It's a
massive CNC, man. You block this. That makes sense.
you don't salam. You just take it.
Now, of course, by breaking the spectral token, if the Prism player allows it, it's still be taking 10.
He needs a 4-card block here just to save his arsenal. Is it worth it? Or would you just try to mitigate some damage? Because do take note, Rosetta is coming up next
Yes.
for 2 and 2.
But it's not going to do much here. So let's see how the Prism player is hoping to block it.
And also the CNC is proccing Sting of Sorcery. So there's 1 arcane coming to him as well.
So it's a total of 11 damage and 1 arcane.
That is not fun.
That is not fun at all for the Prism player.
So he negates the arcane.
Interesting that, yep, he would reduce 1 of embodiment of Earth for Davin here. So he would have he now would have to think, how do we block this physical hit of 11?
He's pitching for a aura for Merciful Retribution. And it looks like he's
Is going to deal 1 arcane if the token breaks.
Yes, he will deal 1 arcane back to Davin. Yep. And he likes to take the rest of the damage, which is pretty massive. So he just took 10.
Mm-hmm.
And
Davin does have the go again, so the attack does not stop here. More is coming up.
That was a pretty good play, actually.
Yeah.
Playing out the Merciful Retribution there. But now the question is, will the Merciful Retribution be annoying enough for Davin to commit a turn just to deal with it, or to commit an attack to deal with it? Do take note that all auras have spectras, so whenever you attack the aura, the combat chain closes, right? So
Devin does have to go again.
and
You
it's
think he will swing the weapon at the aura here? Would that be a better play?
it's no swinging to the Prism player. Okay.
Interesting, being more aggressive.
So what this signals to me is that Davin probably thinks that the Merciful Retribution is not relevant enough for him to commit an attack towards it. The 4 damage to the Prism would be more. Yeah.
So it's a red herald protection.
Yeah, it's another red herald protection. But he's got 3 embodiment of Earth. So
He only has 1 from the physical hit of CNC because the weapon
right.
attack
Okay, the weapon attack
doesn't count towards
okay.
the
As a Prism player, you do not want to see that.
That's a lot of 6 attacks, and
Yep, and sure. He'll take the arcane.
and sure, will he be swinging the milk? No, it doesn't, because
He doesn't have to go again. His combat chain closes.
That's unfortunate for the Prism player. And let's see what Devin does here. Will he keep pressuring the Prism player, or will he be opting to break the Merciful here?
Well, at 15 life, it's going to be quite hard to keep withstanding all these attacks. So once your life resource drops to a certain level, you don't have any more life resource to trade to play your auras. So if I were Davin, I would push for the kill here, just to force out the blocks. Yeah.
So with the 1 resource on Tunic, so that pressure is possible even with 3 card hand. So let's see what Devin does. A quick check on his discard pile to see what is gone. Maybe a Sonata coming up. Maybe a Tome.
It's a snatch. It's a dirty snatch with Snapdragon Scalers on board. It's threatening a go again.
With a hit, so he is forcing the Prism player to block here for 3. I took for 4. So if he does have a defense reaction,
and yes, he does break the Snapdragon Scalers.
Let's see if there is a defense reaction coming out from the Prism player himself. In order to negate the 4, now he knows that Devin already broke his Snapdragon Scalers. Will there be a reaction from Prism?
There is a social. Oh, that was a very well played social.
So no drawing cards for Devin here. Let's see with the go again what the Devin does here. He does still have 1 resource from the Tunic.
Very well timed Soul Shield. But do take note, he's only got 2 cards left in hand. Rosetta's coming for 2 in this scenario because he didn't have any non-attack action, right?
That is true. So it's going to be coming for only 2 physical here.
Oh no, I think he swings it at the Merciful. Yes, he swings it at the Merciful.
So Merciful goes into the soul.
Merciful goes into the soul, yes. And the Prism player will just... It will look like a Herald play. Yep, it's a Herald play. War Tune Herald.
So it's a War Tune Herald for 7.
It's a war... Yep.
Oh,
and Davin just takes it. It should go into soul, if I'm not mistaken. But it lost its way and found the graveyard.
That's unfortunate. That
is unfortunate because those souls will really help you in the late game when you're trying to finish the game off with shields.
That is true. So the Prism player does have 4 souls now. So let's see what's Devin's next move. So the Rebel Spark is fused, so it's going to buff up Vigor Rush. So let's see how DJ blocks this. Or does he opt to block at all? What would it the best play here be?
DJ will have to block here. He's at 15 life. If he doesn't, I'm thinking of his outs, right? One of it may be a Halo Tome of Divinity play. He still has, he needs a Tome of Divinity, with the Halo. That could help him a bit, but if he just ignores this damage, he'll be in the kill zone real fast, and it's not gonna be a good time.
Let's just put it that way.
An enthusiastic fan just came up to the
To the booth.
to the booth. Can you?
That's the thing below. So it does negate a decent amount of damage. So it does opt to take the Arcane from Rebel Spark. So that's 1 embodiment of Earth.
And 3 physical, right? Will he take the 3 physical?
So DJ is still shuffling the cards around, looking for the right card to block.
And he does have another thing below. Well,
It's a clean block.
that's a clean block. So this will create embodiment of lightning.
So yeah, he did play 2 non-attack action. So the next attack he's be playing an attack action would have a go hit. So looks like Devin is opting to bring in a Rites of Replenishment. It's going to the bottom of the deck.
And you have a yep.
And with the last resource,
With the snatch, go again. Oh,
that's a dirty snatch with the go.
so he played 2 snatches, one at the start, and the Malaysian crowd goes wild. They are clapping their hands. That was a dirty, dirty snatch.
That's an unexpected snatch. So Devin does have 1 resource remaining in order to swing his Rosetta.
Yes, he does have 1 resource remaining. Oh. Oh, that snatch, man.
That snatch was key.
That is what happens when you walk down a dirty alley. You just got your stuff, you just get your card snatched right out from you, and it's 9 to 15.
To 15. So now the Prism player only have 1 card in his hand. So it's most likely will be a Arsenal.
It will most likely be an Arsenal card. So right now at this life, the Prism can't opt for the Harrow attacks. It's going to be very hard for him to create auras. He has to default to the shield plan. So
it's unfortunate that the Prism player has DJ has so much soul, but he doesn't have the chance to use it as of yet. Let's see if on 9 life would be that be useful.
it's Davin's turn again with the tempo. Oh.
So Devin is going to
And
pressure more.
He will most likely go for the kill. Do take note that his armors are still looking very shiny. Those cold foils are
Those are
not scratched at all. Or those rainbow foils.
So the skull cap is currently blocking for 1, at least for Devin. So
Okay, so here comes David with he's
Tome?
pitching the tome.
So DJ is waiting patiently to see what kind of sneaky attacks David will come up with. So he changes its pitch. He is opting to play it out, I think.
I think he's just thinking about sequencing, right?
Yeah, true. So
Another Earth Law Surge.
oh, so
This is coming for +5.
I'm assuming it's a raid.
It's a red Earth Law Surge, right? This is the third Earth Law Surge. And he's
Here
front loading the attacks.
A stir the wildwood. So since it's fused, it's going to gain +2. So it's a 7 + 5. It's a 13 damage attack.
It's a 13 damage attack on a Prism player who's got 9 life. Ooh.
So let's hope DJ has the soul shield somewhere in the arsenal or in his hand.
Even with Soul Shield, he's still taking 7 damage, which is
Still close to death.
which is a no good because he'll be on 2. So if he drops to 2, what David would do would switch up his arcane play. So he would then ping you with arcane and try to go wide.
Especially with Waxing Malice being such a good Runeblade card with those 2 pesky arcanes. Very hard to negate, especially with DJ running only 1 arcane barrier.
Man, if I'm DJ, I'm looking at the Halo now and I'm praying that you're a co-foil because boy, do I need God's help.
So DJ taking his time with the choosing the cards to block because it's not an easy task to block such a big attack.
Not when you're at 9. Oh, and he blocks for 12, taking 1.
Okay, down to 8.
So down to 8. Yep.
Devin so gets to create 1 embodiment of Earth, but at this point, I think DJ will just be opting for draw pass. So hoping for Devin to have a smaller attack distance so he can gain back some of that momentum. But let's see what Devin's plays out here.
Oh, he's going to the library with Tome of the Arc Knight. Yep.
And he
hits. Ooh.
So he even used the tunic resource, so he does have the cards to play with.
Man, is David a gas station? Because his deck isn't stopping. He doesn't seem to be running out of gas.
So the draws are insane from David.
And here comes the embodiment of lightning. Oh.
So the Bramble Spark does get fused. So the next attack is going to be a +2.
Another Bramble Spark.
It doesn't stop.
LSS, please.
Please. You bad Seeds of Agony. Now you give us this. So it's coming for 2 arcanes. It's a double Bramble play. So let's wait for an attack here. So Devin thinking of his option. He does have another Bramble in hand.
And that is a
Earthlore Surge.
another Earthlore Surge. This is a yellow Earthlore Surge?
Yes, so it's going to be +4 for the next attack. Combining it with the Bramble Spark, the next attack, I'm assuming is going to be insane in terms of damage. So the total damage is going to be. It's very hard to see what's the. I'm just going to wait until the player.
So what does burgeoning do, Salah?
So burgeoning, it's a 6 attack card for a red one. But if you were to play it out of the arsenal, it's going to gain a +1.
I see.
So David plays it out of his hand. So it's going to be just a. I'm assuming it's a yellow. So it's going coming for 5. So 5 is the base damage. Earth Law Search for 2 Bramble Spark yellow. So +2/+2. Doing some math here. 8 + 5 is a 13 attack again.
It's another with arcane.
That's
How much is the arcane?
So the arcane is coming for 2 arcane. So it's a 13 + 2 arcane.
With a with Rosetta as a follow-up.
Yes, most likely a Rosetta is coming up.
Okay, let's see what the Prism player opts to do.
So let's see if DJ has to block this, right? It can't say like I'm just going to take this and then try to swing back.
Yes, this is lethal.
This is
It
lethal.
is.
This is way past lethal. This is I don't know, Joanne. You gotta find a word
He-
for it.
Pitches Soul Shield, that is interesting. He pitches Soul okay, he has another Soul Shield. So he's blocking for 9. He's taking
So let's see how much damage. If the calculation is right, he's still going to take a little, not a bunch of damage.
and here comes the Rosetta.
So this is for 2/2. So can DJ block here?
It's time.
He has,
He takes the 2 arcane and
then he blocks with the Vestige.
and drops to 1.
Oh! Feel the momentum
And his Soul Shield is supposed to go back to his soul, but at this point,
it's a bit too tough to actually keep track what's going on if you are dropping to 1.
the stream drop.
So David
David, wait, hang on. We are experiencing some technical difficulties. Please. Hey, hang on. Hey, where's Ricky? Oh wait, oh. Okay, we're back in the game.
So we are back. So just a minor draw in hall. Okay, both looks good now. Okay, so we can continue with the play.
Oh, it's another Bramble Spark play.
This Bramble Spark never stops. So 1 arcane is guaranteed to come to DJ here.
And he'll crit. Okay, so there'll be 2 runes. So he's and his game.
Yeah,
There
it's
is-
game
yep,
with the
that
Vexing
is-
Malice.
That is game. The Prism goes back to Solana.
Unless he does create a spectral shield token if he opts to do that.
No, there is 2 arcane damage coming from the
Oh, it's in! It's game.
and the Malaysian crowd goes wild. By the way, thank you to Madman for having us in this event, for hosting us in this event.
Do stay tuned. We have 2 more games to go.
And there's 2 more games to go, guys. No Win No Sleep takes the first game.
So let's go for the second one coming up soon.
Game is still going on. Apologies for that.
And we both actually left the booth, but now we're back. So Halo does have an arcane barrier, is it?
He has spell void. He has spell void. He has spell void.
Okay, oops. That's an oopsie from us. Okay, but it's okay. So DJ is currently on 1 health.
So can DJ come back from this Salam?
So DJ does have 1 card in hand, I'm assuming, and 1 card in arsenal.
That was embarrassing. We apologize for that.
We yeah.
And okay, he's defaulting to the shield plan.
Okay, so Devin just opt to take the 1 spectral shield damage. So let's see what Devin does here with a full card hand and a 1 card in arsenal.
And here comes the Sonata.
Here comes the Sonata. Let's see if Devin opts to pitch more in order to reveal more cards, or does he go with the default 3? Yeah. He hits again. That's insane with a CNC.
I think it's his deck composition, Salam. It's built to always ensure hits on his Sonata and his Tome of the Arknights.
Yep. The ratio of non-attack action and attack action here is insane. Not insane. I mean the ratio is just right in order for all this non-attack action to hit Sonata, Tomes. So he does fuse the force of nature with burgeoning. So lightning again.
Another lightning. Yes, he has to push past this 1 damage.
So he does have a CNC in hand. Does he play out the CNC with go again? CNC is already a quite dirty card, but with the go again, it's double dirty.
In terms of damage efficiency, it's not the most damage efficient. It's 2 for 6. So he may opt for something else, or he may opt to end the turn with CNC rather than front loading CNC, right?
So let's see what's the first attack here. So depending if DJ does have a soul shield, so he does want to play it out before the CNC comes. So it really depends how DJ opts to block this.
Yes, that's a very good point. So what he's trying to do is maybe force out the soul shield before the CNC. Or force out the soul shield to block something that is fairly inefficient, knowing that there is a CNC. So this is where mind games come in.
True. So you can see that DJ does pitch a aura in order to negate the arcane from Sonata. So DJ has a 3-card hand and 1 arsenal. So Devin is looking ways in order to strip those cards from his hand.
Now, at this juncture, I'm really looking at deck sizes, right? Because if I'm DJ, sorry, I am hoping to deck him out. Because at this live, there is no way I'm playing any of my auras or any of my heralds.
True. So with DJ having that 1 floating resource, it would be useful for him to use the footstep here. That is one possible.
That is one possible play. But it looks like he's holding out for arcane, for more arcane.
So Devin is taking his time with the right attack. Thinking what should be the right attack here. He does want to keep the pressure on. Things are going very quiet.
So this is where decision making really comes into play, right? Like, how do I just How do I strip everything from you? How much threats is left in Davin's deck? That is something that is going through both the players' minds.
True. We do see Davin playing so much attacks. We also should remember that the ratio of the non-attack action and attack action might come and bite him in the back if he does draw up into it.
That's true. That's true. If
non-attack action.
And he'll just play the CNC out, okay, with the go again.
CNC, the go again.
So he'll draw 2 cards from.
So he does have a force of nature. So it's a CNC for 7.
It's a CNC for 7. I see. Oh.
He just used with the force of nature. So it's a CNC for 7. So you can see DJ is preparing to block for 6, and I'm assuming the other one is going to be
from the shield.
From the shield.
Now, knowing that you can't trigger footsteps for its go again ability or to gain the action point when Davin breaks a herald, would you opt to block with footsteps here, allowing the footsteps to break, keeping the shields?
Yeah.
Valuing the shields here.
I mean, 1 damage poke is going to actually amount to a lot as the game drags on. So I would opt to actually throw away my footsteps.
You opt to throw the footsteps? Yep, with the remaining 1 resource, it may be the right play to just throw the footsteps.
So he's going to pitch something out here in order
to
it's
Home of Divinity. Alright, no. But it's just 2 cards, right? He's just drawing 2 cards.
So he's looking for maybe a better blocking card here. But he doesn't have any resource anymore, am I?
But do take note that DJ has been pitching his auras, so it's bound to float up. So he's also running out on defensive cards. And yeah. And as we all know, auras don't block.
Auras is meant to play out, not to block.
Yeah.
So on 1 life, you would hate to see them.
Yep. And he's breaking his footsteps here.
Okay, so 2 resources floating. So let's see what's the next card being played out here by David. So what's the next card? He does have the spectral token.
If he swings with Rosetta here, does he win? He's got the spectral token, right? Yeah. He still has spectral token.
So one of those arcane is going to be blocked by spectral token.
And with the arcane.
With the remaining pitch. So let's see. What's the 1 card hand in Davin's hand? What is it? The card in Arsenal. What is the card? What's the last card in DJ hand? So does this help? What is going on? So Davin does have all the full set of armor except for his Snapdragon Scalers. Of course, it was broken earlier. Okay, so we are going to see a play
explosive growth. Another explosive growth.
So this is coming for 1 arcane, and is it I can't see the color though. I'm not sure about the physical. All right. So is that a GG?
That's a GG.
Oh, it's an aura.
Yeah, it's an aura in hand. That's a GG. All right, that's the. Okay, so this time I'll just ask for confirmation. Hey, Davin, win already, Davin. All right.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so now we'll go off for a short break. We'll be back with 2 more games.
Yeah. 2 more games to go. So stay tuned. good.
So the Katsu player is Saifu, Malaysia's R2N champion. And he will be going first. His opponent will be Xingjia, who's on the chain.
So, John, what do you think? Since Seeds is banned, how would Xingjia actually play this chain?
Well, I believe Xingjia will need more of a setup, so he'll be stacking blood that early,
What do you think?
right, to set up for the mid to late game. Whereas in this matchup, I believe Saifu will want to be the aggressor.
So he doesn't want Xingjia to actually set up those big turns. So he would like to aggro him first.
Right. So I believe like with chain, once you start blocking, you're blocking the whole game. So you don't want to get there, right? With chain, especially while he has lost seeds, while chain has lost seeds of agony, I believe there's still enough firepower for them to close out the games. They just may not get there as fast as it was like during Monarch.
So we've seen what the Runeblade class can do with the last game. So let's see the Shadow Runeblade, how does he fare? With Seeds of Agony no longer in play, but as John said, Chain still have a lot of firepower, so we're going to see that in this game.
We've got a fan coming up here.
Oops. Sorry about that. We'll try to lower our voices.
No result. Oh. So a lot of the newer players are actually asking, how do we block Katsu? Now that is something very interesting, right, Salam?
Yep.
Something that we hope to get into when the game starts, right?
Yeah, true. So we'll actually get to see firsthand how blocking and aggressing works in this matchup.
Now, Salam, you are a Katsu player.
Indeed, I am.
How do you fancy yourself in this matchup?
Now, against Chain, I would usually go full aggro, as you have actually mentioned. So I would think that would be the best way to play, since Since chain was introduced, I think that's the best way to play. Even now, I think being the aggressor is the way to go for Katsu.
Interesting point.
Hmm.
So you agree that Chain will be the defender at the start of the game?
Uh, so he might want to think of breaking up his shackles before actually going for the aggressive play. So he might defend a bit, but not too much. So Chain used to go. Oh, picking up our voices. Sorry. No, I'm just going to talk. Okay, I don't care. Because they say they cannot hear. I think we are too close. Yeah, we're not trying to go.
I mean, they're still table shuffling. So.
Yeah. Oh, we'll wait for a bit. So we'll.
So Saifu is one of Malaysia's premier Katsu players. Like he is the Katsu player to beat if you're in Malaysia.
Yeah.
Like he has played control Katsu, he has played mid-range Katsu, he has played aggro Katsu. Shout out to Rain as well, who plays a very, very good control Katsu.
So Rain and Saifu were there since the inception of Katsu.
Since Katsu was born, right? Since Katsu came out from the womb
Of LSS?
of LSS, Rain and Saifu were there.
Yeah. Juan, you were also playing Katsu. So what do you think of the of this matchup?
Now, okay, my belief is that I could be wrong. Is that when Katsu starts blocking in this matchup, Katsu will block for the rest of the game, and it's very hard for Katsu to come back from that.
That is true.
Right.
One Chain is the aggressor. It's very hard to gain back that momentum. So the players are still setting up, and let's take a look at the equipments.
It's pretty standard from the Chain side. It'll be the Arcanite Skullcap. And it's a Rosetta Thorn. Okay, Carrion Husk, which will buy the Chain a turn. Grasp of the Arknight and Snapdragon Scalers for him to be aggro. Now, what is interesting for Katsu will be always to look out for the boots, right? Now, if the Katsu is playing Snapdragon Scalers, he is telling you that I'm going to be the aggressor.
True. Now, instead of the usual Breeze Rider boots,
Instead of the usual, Breeze Rider boots would normally indicate that the Katsu would want to go down a more control route.
True. So basically, Saifu is pitching a Flick Flag blue and a red Razor. So two reds for a CNC.
Yep.
So it's a red Flick Flag. I'm sorry, it's not a blue one. Okay. So Xingjia is blocking a clean block there with a red bind, and I can't see the other card, but I'm assuming it's a 3 block.
Yes.
So unfortunately, we do not have the life counter.
Can we have the life counters? It's going to be a bit hard. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, currently both are on 40, so no damage taken.
That is very interesting by Saifu. He pitched away a Flick Flag, indicating he is going to be the aggressor. And this is 2. Yep.
So this is a flat 2 here.
With a Razor. Okay. So that's 35, 40.
That's a very interesting play.
So the Chain is most likely just trying to stack his counters right now.
Yeah, so we do see one
His shackles.
shackles being created. So next turn he's going to banish 1. So let's see what Saifu does.
So the Art of War. Okay, this is
so blue crane dance being pitched. So Saifu is opting for.
Right.
So it's
The +1/+1 and a banish. Okay.
So it's banishing a card, an attack action card, in order to draw 2. So let's see what Saipo chooses to banish. So Mugenji is being banished here. So let's draw 2. So all of Saipo's attack is going to have a +1 buff.
And this is a very aggressive play by Saipu.
So Surging Strike is coming for 6 now, due to the Out of War buff. So let's see what Sinja opts to do here. So it's a bit too early for the Husk, I believe.
And Sinja takes.
Takes all 6.
Now this is the correct play actually.
So Sing below is being thrown away. It's discarded to look for a combo card. So most likely it will be a Red Whelming, since Mugenshi is banished out.
So he's gonna block. He's gonna be blocking this Red Whelming.
So it's
It's a 5 damage Whelming Gust Wave with go again. If it hits, because Surging was played the chain before, it will draw Saipu a card.
So Zinja is, I think, choosing a card to block with. So because this is not a card you want to actually allow to hit.
No, sir, you do not want Whelming to hit. He opts to throw the Husk here. That is okay.
That is very early
That
to
is-
actually throw the Husk, but I think Zinja might have something in his hand that it feels that it could gain the momentum back. Okay, now let's see the next card from Saipo here. So
And it's a yes for 6, which
it's a 6 and
which
draw
will
a card.
draw a card. Yep.
So Saipo is choosing the draw card, I'm assuming, in order to actually prep up the arsenal.
Yes, he will want to set up his next turn right now, right? Because he's already taken Husk from the chain player. So whatever he plays after, yeah, he's going to be running solo on armor. But it looks like the chain player really wants to keep his hand.
True. He's showing all his available armor in order to do that. And he does have 1 card in arsenal and a full card hand.
Now, do take note that Saifu has pitched a red flip flag and he has discarded a red sink below. So his defensive options now will not be the strongest.
Yeah, true. Most likely,
And the chain has its own Out of War. Okay.
so back to back out of war from both players. So it is very interesting. So Ghostly Visit is being banished here. So he's choosing. So I'm assuming he's choosing the banish, and I'm not sure it's either +1 or go again.
It will be a well, let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, we can't really.
And a Shadow Puppetry. So I would guess it's a +1 because he's already got a Shadow Puppetry in hand.
True. So the next attack will have go again, no matter what, because of the Shadow Puppetry. So Singa is thinking very carefully for his next attack. He do have 2 resources floating.
And it's a flock.
It's a flop with
It's
go
a
again.
Flock with go again.
So he will reveal
Another Shadow Puppetry. That is
some huge attacks coming out.
now this is where Cypher has to make a decision, right? Does he continue being the aggressor or does he switch it up?
Yeah.
And Cypher opts to take 7. That is okay. So it's
So Saifu will be down to 28. And Sinja is still on 30. So we'll see the next attack coming from Xinjia here. He does have the Ghostly Visit in the Banish Zone. He can choose to play that and then break the Quicken token in order to actually
Yes.
make another attack. So he does play
He plays the Ghostly Visit. Yep. It's coming for 5.
the Ghostly Visit for 5. Saifu will choose to take the 5.
And with Rosette, this was a huge turn for the chain.
So we can see why Xinjia opt to actually use his armor in order to hold this huge hand. And he does have 1 card to go into the arsenal at the end of this turn.
Yes, but the way Saifu took the damage, it will indicate that he already has a combo in hand.
Yeah, right.
Like there is no way a player like Saifu would just take the damage without knowing what he already has. Like he's not going to be gambling on the Master.
True.
But let's
So Saifu is thinking to actually block this Rosetta. No, he doesn't block the Rosetta.
he just takes a 4. Yep.
So Saifu is down to 19, I'm assuming, after taking all the damage from Rosetta. So Tunic should be on 3 now.
Oh, he's still thinking about the block.
Oh, he's still thinking about the block. He haven't taken the damage yet. So let's see what does Saifu block with.
He blocks with a snatch, okay, just to mitigate some damage.
So he does take 2 arcane. Yep. So Saifu is on 21 instead of taking all the damage from Rosetta. He's opting to block the physical hit. So here comes the Kodachis, fighting off with the Kodachi. So Chain does not have the husk. He does have his Runeblade arm.
And again, another surging strike.
So this is coming for 4. Saifu does have 1 resource from Tunic.
Now I'm willing to bet that he has Whelming in either his arsenal or in his hand.
So Xinjia is opting to block that, and then it's an AE.
It's an AE. Oh, son. Oh, that hurts.
It's another
And
AE.
it's another AE. So this is the this is the ultimate card to bait out armor, right?
Yeah.
If the opponent blocks just nicely for whatever damage you showed them, and he AZ and he plays and you react with an AE, that is so devastating.
Another flick back being thrown out. So we can see Saifu is had no care for his defense reaction, going full aggro. Oh,
And here comes a Whelming Gust Wave for 4.
so
This will trigger Mask and will trigger Whelming Gust Wave. So he will be drawing another 2 cards from this if Xinjia does not respect this damage.
true. So Xinjia did throw away his armors, so he could not actually use it. His skull cap is already blocking for 1 since he has higher health, and his Runeblade arm is already being used for the surging. And since Saifu is not breaking the chain, so the armor doesn't actually helps. So now what Xinjia does is have to block something from his hand, or Saifu will be drawing 2 cards, as John pointed out.
He's blocking for 6.
So he does go with the safe play of actually blocking all the.
So tempo is now gone to Saifu, right? Because Xinjia will now have 1 card, and not much a chain can do with just 1. And
he does
just one.
banish a Ghostly Visit. So he could pitch something in order to play out the Ghostly Visit for 4.
Now, for all the viewers out there, it is pretty good for you to, when defending against Katsu, it's pretty good to take note of the combo cards that are already in the graveyard or has been played by the Katsu. This will determine whether you would want to block their combo starters or not, right?
So here comes another Shadow Puppetry.
With a Ghostly Visit for 5. Oh, okay. No, because they cannot hear from the other side.
It's already.
You go in, yeah, because they say that they cannot hear the commentary. Yeah.
So Saifu is currently thinking whether to actually block this 5 damage coming up. So most likely Xingjia is going to go for a Rosetta after this. He does have 2 floating resource, so Rosetta is going to come with 2 physical damage and 2 arcane.
And Saifu life is at 21. It's dropping below that 20 life threshold, which the Katsu normally wants to be at, right? To throw out his combo cards.
So when Katsu's life is below certain threshold, it's very hard to actually keep taking damage in order to apply the same pressure. So Saifu is
And Saifu throws the mask here. This is an interesting. So he's saying,
I do not need the mask in order to apply the.
yes, he would prefer the cards in hand because he doesn't have much. He doesn't have many turn cycles left.
True.
At his current life at 18.
So Saifu has a 3-card hand and 1 arsenal.
Oh, apologies, it's 1726.
So it's a blue flick flag for a Kodachi. So he does have 2 resources floating.
Ooh, it is now. We have not seen any rising knee thrust so far. So this is interesting. While it doesn't threaten mask,
It does threaten the Katsu trigger.
it does threaten Katsu trigger. It does threaten a rising knee, and this is coming in for 9 if the chain elects to take everything.
True.
It's 4 plus 5.
If Xingjia does opt to block all 4,
And there is the rising knee thrust
and the rising knee thrust comes,
for 5. Yeah.
and then
And we're experiencing some technical difficulties.
so Xingjia is deceived for a bit, but he'll be back. He's already back. He's back. So he's playing a rising knee for 5 here. Saifu is playing a rising knee. So it's a natural combo from hand. So if Saifu does have a 0 cost card in his hand, he can look for Hurricane.
Yes, and he still has Tunic on tick.
So this is going to be a rough turn if Xingjia doesn't block the rising knee, allowing for a Katsu trigger.
Hurricane technique from hand. So he did not trigger Katsu. He had the combo in.
So does Xingjia allow the Hurricane technique to go back to hand?
Well, he'll be dropping down to 14 if he does, or he'll be losing a lot of tempo.
That is true.
And he does elect to take damage.
So Xingjia here is actually opting to actually hold his hand in order to apply pressure. I'm assuming so. He does have 3 cards, 3 soul shackles.
And he finds a bounding Demigon.
So it's only a bounding Demigon. Unfortunately, he threw away a Thunder Run and a meet and greet. So let's see what the Xingjia starts with. A Maureen Sky.
Malvern Skies, forcing out the bounding for 4. Yep.
So bounding is 4. Go again with the Maureen Sky.
And if it hits, it creates a rune chant. So this is. And it looks like Saifu has a flick flag in hand. Will he? Yes, there you go. There's a red flick flag.
There's a red flick flag from hand by Saifu. So he's going to negate that. Let's see what the Xingjia plays next. Rosetta for 2/2. So 2 physical and 2 arcane. Let's see if Saifu opts to actually take all 4, or does he choose to at least negate some of those damage?
Now this is where Saifu would want to pivot to the Kodachi plan, right? This is where the chain at 14 is very much it's very susceptible to Kodachi damage.
True.
Because once your life drops below 10, each Kodachi is taking away 10% of your life.
That is true.
So with a blue pitch, Saifu can be taking away 20% of his life. But Saifu has elected to take the damage, so it would assume Saifu is planning for another big turn, another combo turn, maybe. And with no armor, Sinja is in a tough spot.
True. So now Saifu with a 3-card hand and 1 arsenal. Let's see what Saifu opts to do here. So Zinja does have 1 Green Chan on board.
I believe this is Saifu's turn. Yes.
So Saifu is just checking on Zinja's armor just to know how much potentially he could block for. Zinja does have 1 card in arsenal. And he does still have the Snapdragon Scalers. So the Saifu has his own Snapdragon Scalers there.
Oh, this is tense. It's 13-13. Both players are playing a very aggressive iteration of the deck.
So Hurricane Technique comes out.
Now, this would indicate that Saifu really wants to break his Snapdragon Scalers here. But for what? What is the follow-up play after this?
That is true. So we can see that Saifu pitched away a red Torrent of Tempo. So this could only mean that he either doesn't have a blue or his blue is something he wanted to play out. So let's see how this goes.
This is where Saifu as a player is so tricky, right? Do you allow him to trigger Katsu or do you not allow him to trigger Katsu?
Yeah,
This is
so we can see that Zinja opts to take 1 damage.
and
So
he opts not to trigger Katsu.
So Fluster Feast is coming for 4. So just to apply some pressure.
Now, does Sinja want to drop within the Kodachi range or does he value his offensive turns more efficiently?
So Zinja does block for 3 and he takes 1. So Zinja has a 4-card banish, I'm assuming. So there's a Resting Malice, a Plunder Run, and Art of War.
And he hits on the Shadow of Ursa. Now, it's not bad, but he's got a problem is he's only got a 2-card hand.
So that's unfortunate for Zinja because he only hit a single card that can be played out of banish.
And he is taking Blood Debt every turn.
That is true.
So
the Carrion Husk is actually coming to collect his debt.
he's collecting his debt indeed.
So Shadow of Ursa is being played out here.
It's those dirty alungs collecting their interest. Just
collecting the chain debt. So we see a consuming here. So Saifu did take the Arcane. So the consuming here is going to threaten.
But he's got a prepare. And that is as efficient as it gets.
Yeah, so it's a 4 block. So Zinja is taking 1 blood debt.
And this is where the Kodachi pressure comes in. Yes.
Here comes a blue with a Kodachi.
And he's still got a 3-card hand.
So that's pretty scary as Zinja here, I'm assuming. So
and it's
another leg tap for 4.
Now now you've seen 1 Rising Knee. Do you believe that he has Rising Knee in his hands or not? At this life total, I believe I would be blocking the Rising Knee. I can't afford. I will be blocking the leg tap. Sorry, I can't.
We can see that Zinja. So
it's got another Rising Knee. This is where you're punished. This is where you've lost your hand. You've lost your armor. You've lost your. This is tough. You've just lost everything. This is.
Oh no! Zinja only have a 1-card hand, and he does have 1 card in arsenal. So let's see how Zinja banishes.
Man, I hope Sinja saved up some money because he's going through some tough times.
Yeah, stop me.
Oh man.
So we are
And it's a red plunder run with playing out. Yeah, so he wants to clear blood debt here, right?
so Rift Giant is coming for 3.
So this was how he stacked his deck.
So so we see a CNC coming out from Xinjia. So luckily Cypher actually played out his sink below, else it
And
would-
he's just going to be blocking for 3. Yep.
Okay, so now it's Cypher turn with a 3-card hand, and Xinjia doesn't have an arsenal. He does still have his Snapdragon Scalers.
Oh, and this is where the Kodachi is so oppressive.
True.
A blue pitch. Yep, there you go. There's another Kodachi. Yep.
Those damage are adding up quickly.
You can't be ignoring the Kodachis for too long.
So Cypher does have
And this is an ES for Sep. This is
rough. 7, even without the mask, is threatening so much damage.
the road to national Malaysian champion showing his caliber here.
So Cypher is not going to have any arsenal next turn, but it's applying so much pressure to Xinjia to actually strip out some cards from his hand. So Xinjia is playing out his Art of War.
With an Eye of Ophidia. Wow.
So assuming he's going for a banish and also +1 in order to actually ramp up some defense value. So he's actually opting from the eye first before actually going for any banish.
But do take note, he is taking blood debt every turn. So if he blocks, he is losing. He'll die a slow death.
Yep.
It's a damned if you don't, damned if you do
Yeah, true.
situation for Sinja right now.
It's very tough. It's such a low life. So we do have a 3-card hand for Xinjia in order to actually negate some of those damage. So let's see how he chooses to block this E-Strike in order to soften some of those damage.
We're just checking with the sequencing here. Yeah, everything seems to be in order.
Everything seems okay. So let's see how the Xinjia opts to block this with a 3-card hand, and I'm assuming a +1 defense value.
Now he's only got Shadow of Ursa in his banish zone. So he's gonna want to be keeping the blue pitch, right?
True. So
And he'll be
hoping that his next banish is going to be something spicy, so he can push some of the damage back.
or at least force Cypher to block.
True.
Because if he takes just the Karen Haas, he'll drop down to 3, and the next Kodachis will be representing 30% of his life.
That is true. So we are looking at a 2-card block here from Xinjia. So it's a consuming
It's a consuming blocking for 4 because of Art of War, and yep, so he'll be taking 1.
Okay, so there is only 1 damage coming through from the E strike.
Dropping him to 3. Now what has he hit? Oh, he's okay. So he's hit Howl from Beyond, a Ghostly Visit, and a Shadow of Ursa.
So he does have Howls from Beyond to actually play it out. Shadow of Ursa and a Ghostly Visit. So
So he'll be hitting for 7, right? Oh no, he'll play the Shadow of Ursa,
okay.
and he's got Snapdragon.
Yeah, he does have Snapdragon. So Cyber is opting to take the 2 from Shadow.
Dropping down to 5. Now this is really tense. Yep. Or he doesn't have enough for the. Or he'll be taking 2 Blood Debt here. He doesn't have enough for to play out the Howl from Beyond. So he'll be taking 2 Blood Debt. And each Kodachi is now lethal.
That is true. So now Cyber is opting to block that Ghostly Visit with a CNC, taking 1.
And he'll be taking 2 Blood Debt. And this is where the Katsu. This is where it's not fun to play against Katsu, right?
That is true.
And there is a blue pitch as well. So he's gonna be drawing out a card every up. And that's game.
Unless he's a Razor.
Unless he's got a Razor
Response.
in response to the Razor. Now that's not legal, sir.
So
And Team No Win No Sleep takes the second game.
excellent play from both sides.
More so from Saiful.
No, I
Because he's the one. And the Malaysian crowd goes crazy again.
Thank you, guys.
And we'll be back.
Tune for the next.
Well, Malaysia has already won, but there'll be a consolation game.
You guys in the next.
So Melvin will be going first. And it'll be a chain against. Oh, no win, no sleep has Lexi up their sleeves.
See, so the recently introduced hero from Tails. So this will be an interesting matchup to see how Chain does against a new hero.
Now, what I want to see is, will no win, no sleep go for the clean sweep, or will the Singaporeans salvage some pride?
So this would be the last game. As we know, No Win No Sleep actually took 2 wins. So this is the last round. Let's see how it goes. On the Singaporean side, we have Melvin with Chain, and on the Malaysian side, we have Hua with Lexi.
Now, a little bit of a profile about Hua, Duck Hua. He was our first Malaysian Roads to National champion, and he took it home with Dash.
So the champion himself has actually opted to play Lexi. Now it would be interesting to see whether he would be going for a lightning or ice deck. Or would it be a mix of both? Ooh, like I bought you. Oh no, I am. This is the one you want. I don't think that's it's like it's mutual. It's mutual hate.
Now let's look at the equipment setup. So Duck Hua is showcasing New Horizon, which is the new legendary, and ooh, Spellbound Creepers on chain.
So Melvin is opted to run a Spellbound Creepers. So for those of you who doesn't know what Spellbound Creeper does is, whenever you play an attack action, you can opt to actually play a non-attack action as an instant. However, you do have to pay 1 cost for it. So each player has drawn up to 4 cards.
And let's go. the chain player will be going first, and
Most likely, Melvin opted to go first to actually build up some shackles.
yes, that's a very chain thing to do.
So that's the chain players to do.
And he will be creating a rune charm, pitching
Pitching at
pitching a-
hello, right?
yes, pitching a blue, yep, and creating a shackle.
Creating a shackle, and let's see, would he swing with an attack or just the blade? So he does have one resource floating.
And he'll be swinging for 2+1.
So it's a 2+1, 2 physical from the Rosetta, and 1 rune chime. Melvin does. Oh, he is holding up 3 cards in his hand.
And Duckwa is setting up the life counter. So it may indicate he'll be taking some damage.
He's prepared to actually taking some damage here. He's thinking very carefully with which card to block here. He's taking his time.
Well, he is negating the arcane.
He's negating the arcane by pitching a blue. And for the block, does he block the Rosetta? So he's blocking with a Heaven's Claw for 3. So that's a clean block. As for now, let's see if Melvin has any reaction to this. Be interesting to see a Razor.
And he has an E-strike.
So with a go again, he's opting for an E-strike. He's swinging for 7.
And Duckwa has a take cover just in time
Just in time. So
for
blocking
the yep,
for a clean block there.
for a clean block of 7, and Duckwa will draw up.
So Tunic Hunter is on 1. So let's see what Hua does.
There is. No, you cannot. Voices. So he's pitching a Tome of the Arc Knight. Is that a Tome? What is that? No, it's not.
It can't be a Tome
It
of the
can't be a
Arc
Tome of the Arc.
Knight.
Illegal. Oh, he's got a
He got a light.
he's got to light it up.
So what Hua is just do here is actually choosing whether to go again or a +1. So light it up is fused.
Or with a lightning press. This is an aggressive lightning deck.
Yeah. So it's with all the armors on board. So light it up does, if it hits, it does do extra 4 damage. So let's see if Melvin opts to block here. Eyes. Melvin is taking his time with the block. He's thinking about blocking with his armor.
Now, do note that there is a lightning press behind this. So it is not just a humble 4, and when lightning press hits, it will trigger it will deal damage for all Melvin's armor
That is true.
because of light it up. Yep.
So Melvin might want to block some damage here or just take it all and hoping that he could push the same damage up next turn. Or more.
This is a very aggressive Lexi deck coming out swinging.
Threatening for so much damage.
And he's blocking for 8 with the armor.
Blocking with a husk. That's a very early husk there to prevent those damage.
And he will just lightning press. Yep.
Lightning press and just pass.
Most likely, yeah. So he's just clearing out his hand.
So Hua doesn't want a lightning press because it doesn't block. So he might want to get rid of that from his hand and just draw into a fresh new 4 cards.
Now, do take note, in the game before, we saw the chain block with his armor early, and whatever the Katsu did, it was just overwhelming, right?
Yeah, true.
Will this be the same case with this chain?
Yeah, so we have to see if Lexi will be able to apply the same pressure as a Katsu. Now we're looking at a Soul Reaping here. Soul Reaping would be costing 0 because Melvin opted to banish a Howl from Beyond. He does have 1 resource from that.
Oh, this is really fierce coming out from Melvin.
So it's a 7. 7 is a lot of damage.
The 6, I believe. 6.
No,
right?
it's a 6 from Soul Reaping.
And yep, third Qua is just opting to take the damage.
Just opting to take all 6. Let's see what next attack Melvin is coming in with.
So this is a tempo game, right? Both players are aggressively posturing for tempo control. And ooh, he's got an Art of War as a follow-up. That is fierce.
So,
That is fierce, Salam.
so that's effective use of the 1 resource here for an Art of War. Assuming a banish and +1 or go again. So let's see.
And he banishes the
Vexing
Vexing Malice.
to draw 2.
A blue Vexing Malice to draw 2. Showing that he has another blue pitch in hand.
So he doesn't feel bad to actually banish out the blue in order to draw 2 more cards. So we
With
see
a
a Gorganian.
Golganian Tome to draw. Okay. He's cycling really efficiently here.
So let's see. So he played down an E-Strike.
And it's going to be an E-Strike for 7, I believe, setting up his arsenal.
Yep.
And does the Claw want to drop to 27 here? This is
This is a tough decision here. Does he block?
if he blocks, he cedes a lot of tempo to the chain who's already on 2 shackles.
And do be reminded that Melvin does have 1 card that he can choose to arsenal to be used next turn. And his shackle is on 2.
And he's got a tick cover.
So
So it's not the worst. A 9 life deficit is still fairly
manageable.
manageable.
So a take cover, and then Hua is basically allowed to arsenal 1 card.
Yep.
And a Rosetta coming for
2+.
2+2. So Hua drops down to 28.
So Melvin opts to forego the Arsenal for the extra 4 damage. Now, it will be interesting to see how the Koa tries to regain some tempo here, or close down the life lead, the life gap.
Let's see how Hua plays here. So he plays out a so he reveals a Electrify from the Arsenal.
Ooh, always a good card to reveal from the Arsenal, the Electrify, because it allows you, when played from Arsenal, it allows you to draw a card, refilling your hand, and buff your next attack, your next attack action card, right?
So if the next attack hits, it's gonna deal an additional damage. So let's see what Hua plays out here. So it does have 1 resource remaining.
And he's playing Triggering Voltaire here, no surprise.
So he's gonna put 1 card into the Arsenal. Let's see which card he puts in. It's gonna be a
Bolt and Shot.
Yep. So most likely it's opting for a +1.
Yep. And it's going to be a 5 go again.
5 go again.
If hits, reload. Now this is really interesting to see how Lexi is showcased here today.
So Hua does have a 2-card hand.
Hua still has a 2-card hand with
And
1 resource floating. So do you want, as the chain player, would you allow a reload? And he allows the reload. Now, let's see what Hua does here. Which arrow would he, or he would, and he would shoot with a remorseless.
Remorseless is a very painful arrow for Chain to take. As you know, Chain likes to go wide.
With a lot of attack actions.
And it's gonna hurt him for each
card. Each card you'll be losing 1 life. With an Arsenal setup, this is a back and forth tempo brawl, I must say. It's a brawl for the tempo.
Yeah. So much damage going back and forth. We'll see if Melvin opts to take this 5. Dropping down to 27 if he were to take the 5 from Remorseless.
Now again, he's got Karen Husk already in his banish zone.
So he couldn't use that.
So he can't. So he's gonna be paying that interest, and that interest is gonna accumulate and accumulate.
So let's see if Melvin is still holding on to his hand. A 4-card hand here.
A 4-card hand here, allowing Dirk to Arsenal another card. He can opt to throw a card and use his remaining armor, but he decided to take the damage.
So let's see Melvin's banish. So he does banish a block
and a plunder run. So no hits on the banish.
So unfortunate for Melvin there. No hits for the banish. Let's see what he plays out from his hand.
It's another Art of War. Wow. Okay, that. So he's played 2 Art of Wars so far.
Yep.
And a Soul Reaping.
So you see a Shadow of Ursa going into the banish zone. He's pitching a blue Waxing Malice and he's choosing to draw 2 here. And let's see the next attack. So Shadow of Ursa is being played out. He's choosing to banish a Rift Bind.
A Rift Bind. So it's going to be a 3 go again.
Yeah.
And he'll be taking 1 from Remorseless for the Shadow. Yep. Attack action cards and non-attack action cards
Does
cost you 1 life. Remember, that's from Remorseless. But he will be taking a bunch of damage here as well. Like, just to play out his cards.
So that's one of the advantage of playing Ranger, having access to that Remorseless.
Oh, the Qua opts to just take the 3.
Down to 25. So let's see what's the next card coming out here. Melvin does have 2 resources for team.
He can play the Howl from Beyond with the Rift Bind. Yep, he does opt to play the Howl from Beyond. And taking another damage.
So
Picking up his Shackle. And playing the Rift Bind with Rosetta as a follow-up. That is pretty big. Pretty massive damage.
So let's see what's the next attack here.
No, it's just a Rift Bind. I don't believe he will be playing the Rosetta. So the Rift Bind is coming for 6, 7 damage.
7 damage with the Howl from Beyond.
8 damage, I believe. 6 plus 3 from the Howl, plus 1 from Rift Bind, and plus 1 from Art of War. So 8 damage.
So that's a lot of buffs. So let's see if why is trying to block this or taking those damage.
It's just raw damage. Can Dirk push it back though? That's the question.
That's the question. And we can see Chain is already very light on armor without the husk. So the show shackle is currently on 3.
You see tempo here. That's the thing. You're still at 20 life. Shackle is on 3. Tunic is on 3 next turn.
That is true. So Hoarders have access to 1 more resource from the Tunic next turn. So this is going to be a tough choice.
And opts to block for 3, negating negating some of that damage and taking
85.
taking 5. Now,
Does Melvin choose to pitch to swing the Rosetta hit?
I think you go for the setup, right?
Or do you put a card into the arsenal? So let's see. Setup might be a better option.
Oh, he does opt for
He does opt for the Rosetta.
instead of the Plunderer turn. That's interesting. Instead of putting Plunderer into the arsenal, he opts for Rosetta.
So it's opting for more damage instead of setting up. So we can see if I just took all the damage from the Rosetta. So now let's see how does he push this damage.
I'm pretty sure Dekwa is happy to see the and there he goes. 3 of a kind
From the Tunic.
from the Tunic as well.
So now he has 5 card hand.
5 card hand. And you see the fans are cheering on Hua. Look at that. Look at those crazy hooligans. Those hooligans are everywhere. Oh, we gotta get security in here, Salam.
The fans are looking for him. Now we are looking at a 5 card hand, and a card from Arsenal is a Dazzling Crescendo. Let's see, he plays it out.
And he plays it out. Oh no, he doesn't. Oh no, he uses Lexi's ability to give the next card go again, right?
Oh yeah, true. So now let's see how.
This is what happens when you mix beer with FAV, Salam. The crowd gets rowdy.
All right. Why is choosing to pitch something? So it's going to pitch a.
With Voltaire. Yep, he's triggering Voltaire, opening up the second Arsenal slot.
So 2 resources floating there.
Is that a Frazzle?
Putting card into the arsenal might be a.
Yep, it's a Frazzle.
So it's using that. It does have a 3-card hand now.
Ooh. If it hits, it deals 1 more damage. And now, an interesting card choice. He has opted for the braces instead of shock charmers.
It could be of the arcane barrier. So Shock Charmers doesn't have arcane barrier.
I see.
Yeah, so bullseye braces would be the better choice here.
Or maybe it could be that shock charmers is good with utility builds, whereas bullseye braces, because he's going a lightning build, he has opted for the bullseye braces instead
For that additional damage.
for additional damage and for that additional 1 turn.
Now, we do see that Melvin is thinking about blocking it. If he doesn't, he does take 1 extra damage.
Again, Melvin has no card in Arsenal, so he's only got 4 cards to play with. If he were to block this, he'll be playing with a 2-card hand. And Frazzle has go again from Lexi's passive, so you do not know what's coming after, right?
So does Melvin block here, or he just chooses to take the damage? So
And he opts to takes the damage. Yep,
yeah, he took all 5.
took all 5, which will trigger Frazzle. Sure, take him another 1. Oh no, it doesn't. Sorry guys, the cards are new, so.
So he does have a. Let's see what he plays. He plays out the Dazzling Crescendo. And he does fuse it again with the same blink.
And this Lexi deck, Chain is opting to take all the damage this turn.
He's going to have to.
And Frazzle will trigger, so he will drop to 13. Oh.
So Melvin, we're hoping that his banishes would be good since it's taking all this damage.
Oh, he needs those banishes to be good.
Yeah,
There is no way it's gonna be real hard. And another Voltaire. He'll trigger Voltaire for another time, indicating another arrow is going in. This will be his last banish turn, as he will be dropping to below 10. He needs to be able to do 16 damage to threaten. And you, yep. And he's fusing snapshot.
See how this goes. Will Melvin choose to take those damage again, or will he choose to block?
Now you're running out of life resource real fast. Do you see some tempo here to block out to preserve some of that life?
Yeah. So that's the question here. Melvin,
Some of the crowd is getting real rowdy. I think it's just coming from that one troublesome fan.
so let's see how this goes. Melvin do have access to some of the armor. I believe he didn't use any as of yet.
He's got.
Did he?
Yeah, he's got 1 tick. Yep, he's got 3 there. 1 tick on the Grasp of the Arcanite, 2 from Arcanite Skullcap, and
Let's see if there are any reactions from Briar here.
And he just light it up. He ends it with light it. That was a fantastic play by Duckwad. Did you guys see that? That was a light that. And just the chain is now flabbergasted. He loses so much tempo here,
Yeah.
or he gives up so much life.
So this is a tough choice for Melvin. Does it take all the damage? With 3 armor still on 4, this is tough.
Oh man. This chain is in a hard spot. He is in between a rock and a hard spot, Salam.
So there's no choice here. Melvin is maybe considering blocking
He
between
has,
cards.
he has to block here. Otherwise, he'll be just gambling on the banish zone.
That is true. So let's see what Melvin blocks with here. I'm guessing he's keeping some blues in his hand so he could pitch.
He
for like-
want to keep the blues, right?
Yeah.
He has to keep the blues. Everything comes down to the banish. Yes, and he will block. Yep, for 5, negating the light it up. Yep,
with a CNC and a Tome of Fyendal.
and now he's got no more access to armor, apart from 1 from the Arcanite.
One from Arcanite, and
Which
he
is-
doesn't have the Spellbound Creepers, which block for 1,
Oh, okay, he's got It hits a meet and greet,
and a Ghostly.
ghostly visit.
And the last banish would be, it's only a single hit on the Ghostly Visit.
Ooh,
This is going to be rough.
this is a rough game indeed.
See how Melvin's choose to play this. So if he does have a non-attack action, he could play it out after Ghostly Visit to give it go again.
He
but-
could probably just play the ghostly visit and the Rosetta.
Hmm,
That is a respectable 8 damage.
that is true.
Yep. So he'll shackle. Yep. And it's a red pitch spell. Oh no, it's a blue pitch. So yep. So does the quad take 8 damage here?
So did Melvin actually shackle this turn?
Yes, he did. He shackled on the ghostly visit.
So Ghostly Visit does have go
Yeah,
again.
he has to go again, and then he will most likely swing with the Rosetta. Sorry, it's 6 damage, not 8. Yep.
So far here, just checking out on the
Spellbound Creepers. Yep.
just making sure that everything is in place, making sure he knows what it does. It does cost 1 to activate that, and Melvin does have access to some resource if he wants to go.
But what non-attack action could threaten the Qua here? Not much.
Not much.
Not much, right? Like, you would want to go for the Arsenal play.
Usually Chain doesn't play. Does Chain have any special non-attack action that he would play out here using Spellbound?
No, I don't. It's very rare. Especially after he's played his his attack action.
So he did block with his Tome last turn, so Tome would be a good choice to play out. But
Yep, and he's got a plunder run.
so he
He
activates.
activates the plunder run.
And
Wait, he plays it as he plays it as an instant.
so he,
No, you can't play it as an instant to trigger ghostly visit.
Yep.
So he tried to give plunder runs draw card ability to ghostly visit, but that's not how Spellbound Creepers works, right? And he's just coming in for another 4.
so it's a total of 8 damage.
Now the third Qua has 13 damage in his hand.
This is a choice for Dirk. Does he take all 4 or does he choose to block some here?
And does take the 4 damage.
Down to 8. So Melvin did do some arcane, so we get to keep his Spellbound Creepers, and let's see how Qua responds to this.
So Melvin has no arsenal. Got 3 equipment. Wow, we'll start off with Voltaire, activating Voltaire, and let's see what arrow he starts out with.
So that's a bus boat, I believe.
It is a boss bolt.
Okay, so that's in the arsenal.
Coming in for,
So does it fuse this?
and he does fuse this with a lightning press.
Melvin blocked here.
You have to block here, right? You allow this to hit. Do note that Dirk Qua only has 2 more cards. So if he were to trigger Voltaire again, it has to be a 0 cost. Otherwise, he cannot use the last card.
That is true. So here Melvin is considering to block that.
Melvin blocks for 9. He really does not want the boss ball to hit. He's taking into account the lightning press.
That is true. So he's over blocking it, considering that Qua does have a lightning press in his hand. And it's coming with a dazzling crescendo, using it with a lightning press. Dazzling crescendo is coming for 5.
Now, he would have to take the 5 here. Because man, the crowd is real rowdy right here in Malaysia.
Okay, let's see.
Oi, settle down. Settle down, boys.
So Qua opt to just play out the lightning press, pushing some damage. So Melvin is down to
And Hua is methodically tearing apart Melvin. Oh,
he does only have 1 card in his hand, which I'm assuming a blue. So let's see, his banishes is a Shadow Puppetry, it's a Snatch, a Mobian Skies, and a CNC.
ooh, that was rough, Salam. That was rough indeed.
It doesn't hit at
Now
all.
I'm guessing that was rough. Yep.
It doesn't hit.
Now I'm guessing, yep, and that is the best you can do. A blue pitch to create a rune chant with a sword for 3
Yeah, so it's a sword for only 2 physical and 1 arcane.
and 1 arcane, right?
A total of 3 damage. Let's see if Hua is comfortable to take all 3 in order to push damage back. And do remember that Melvin does take 1 blood depth from the husk.
Yes, every turn he'll be taking 1.
It'll be down to 4.
On the bright side, the life does seem to be on parity.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. See how this goes. One.
So Dirk Hua is just checking the banish pile just to know how much blood that he'll be taking.
So he's just making sure that his task is still there. And let's see. Does he block here?
And he just takes the damage
Takes the damage.
And
trying to
he's-
push.
with a 4 card hand, 5 life.
Page 2. Now Melvin is expected to take 1 from blood depth, dropping down to 4. Okay, so let's see what Hua does here.
This does not look good for the chain player, Salam. I must say,
Yeah,
it's gonna be real tough. It's an uphill battle.
so it's a rough. Chain doesn't like to block, but he's forced to block.
He does not like to block indeed.
Just making sure that Is discard out, checking out his discard pile, just making sure everything is in place.
The crowd can smell a Dirk victory.
Dirk is smelling blood.
Dirk is smelling blood. There's some singing going on. There's some drunken batter. There's a
Okay, just here.
and it's a tree of a kind.
Yeah, that's checking.
Or as the Aussies will call it, three of a kind. A three of a kind.
Now it does have a huge hand to play with now.
With gas now on Dirk Hua's side, can he push that 4 damage?
So Voltaire is being used here. So one resource floating. Let's see what card he loads up. So he loads up a Dazzling Crescendo into his arsenal and play it out. Assuming not using it, he's keep using it. He does have access to the Snapdragon Scalers if he just opt to force a go again.
He's got a 4-card hand still on play.
Yep.
Oof.
So the chain player must be thinking, how do I throw my hand to block this? I have no choice but to do that.
Ooh, it's tough, son. It is tough.
It's
It is really rough to be a chain player right now, especially okay, he blocks for 2.
He blocks for 2 with the tome. Does he block with more cards? Yeah.
Is that a buzzbolt?
So we see another Buzzbolt in the arsenal being loaded up.
So right now the chain is on 2. Is that a
Reaching a snatch to play out the Buzzbolt.
with still 2 cards in hand? This is a do if you don't, die if you do, a die if you don't
That is
scenario.
So this is. So let's see. Melvin is considering which cards to throw in order to block here.
Now Dirk Hua's eyes are lighting up. He smells blood in the water.
Thing for Melvin. And
Melvin blocks for 6 here.
okay, let's see what the Snapdragon Scaler forces a go again.
With the
Bullseye Braces.
with the
to
bullseye
block one.
braces.
So let's see what cards does Melvin has in his hand. He has to throw it in order to block this.
It is a Marble Skies. Okay, he'll take 2.
And he'll take 1 from the Blood Depth, I believe.
And he'll
So-
take 1 from Blood Debt, yes.
It's a guaranteed, but he does have to banish. Yeah, he let's
Yeah. He has to miss. He cannot afford to banish a Blood Debt. It's 1. It's an E-strike. And that's game. And Malaysia takes it home with a clean sweep.
clean sweep.
A clean sweep, Salam. I guess you can say. Today Singapore just wasn't good enough.
So Excellent play from both sides, but we see Novin Muslik coming out ahead. 3-0.
All right. Thank you guys, and that's it for us. I am Please Don't Pawn Me with That Geeky Guy, and together we are Please Don't Pawn That Geeky Guy.
Thank you very much. See you guys in the next.